With great characters comes great responsibility, and for the last decade and a half, studios have been doing their best to bring everyone's favorite web-slinger the big screen adaptation he deserves. Since 2002, the world has seen 5 Spider-Man movies, and will be getting a 6th film with 2017's Spider-Man Homecoming hitting theaters in June. Before we get too excited about that movie, however, it's time to take a closer look at Spidey and reveal some facts that Marvel and Sony have been keeping secret for years. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this video. And before you leave, make sure you subscribe to CBR to stay in the loop with all of our new awesome stuff. Here are 10 secrets Marvel never revealed about Spider-Man movies. Green villains. With the Spider-Man franchise being rebooted twice in just 15 years, there were bound to be some things that connected the different renditions of the web-slinger. Fans know about the costumes and the similar actors, but most people probably didn't realize this one. In each of the big screen adaptations of the web-slinger, the first villain that the hero faces is the color green. For Tobey Maguire, it was the Green Goblin. For Andrew Garfield, it was the Lizard. And for Tom Holland's upcoming turn in Spider-Man Homecoming, he'll face off against Vulture, yet another green-colored villain. This may just be a fun coincidence, or maybe it's a clue to some sneaky secret Marvel's hiding from us. Only time will tell.
We'll meet again, Spider-Man!
Peter Parker's landlord. Comic book movies are famous for being jam-packed with references and hidden Easter eggs, and it'd take more than a few videos to get through all the secret messages in the Spider-Man movies. We've got to start somewhere though, so let's take a minute to talk about Peter Parker's grumpy landlord. The man was rather unmemorable, but serious Marvel fans may have realized that his name, Mr. Ditkovich, is actually a reference to Spider-Man co-creator Steve Ditko. While this isn't quite a Stan Lee cameo, it's nice to see the film pay homage to the man who helped create the neighborhood spider we know and love.
Tally-ho.
Wolverine cameo. Ever since the incredible success of 2016's Deadpool, Marvel fans have been clamoring for Wolverine to make an appearance in the sequel. Sadly, it doesn't look like that's going to happen, as Hugh Jackman has hung up his claws for good. Jackman has appeared as the character 9 times, but there was actually almost one more. In fact, there was a planned cameo for Hugh Jackman as Wolverine in the original Spider-Man movie, and the Australian actor actually came all the way over to New York to film the scene. Unfortunately, the plans had to be scrapped when the crew were unable to get access to the famous Wolverine costume. Details on what the scene would have been like are scarce, but this crossover moment would have undoubtedly caused hysteria from the Marvel fanboys. What a beautiful world we used to live in, where competing studio crossovers were only limited by available costumes and not all the legal mumbo-jumbo we have to deal with today.
Well, that's a first.
Recasting Maguire. Although fans have some varied opinions these days, in 2002, Tobey Maguire was the one and only Spider-Man. What fans may not know is that the actor nearly had to drop out of his second go as Spidey after suffering a very bad back injury while filming Seabiscuit. While this was definitely unfortunate news, the studio had no plans to cancel the sequel, and they actually brought in a young Jake Gyllenhaal to take over the role of Spider-Man. This recasting apparently made things pretty awkward on set, and thankfully Maguire was able to recover from his injury and take his part back. If you were paying close attention, you can even catch Maguire referencing the back injury in Spider-Man 2. When Peter Parker tries to leap off of a building shouting, "I'm back, I'm back," he first pauses and winces as he stands saying, "My back, my back."
My back! Oh, my back!
Andrew Garfield's spare time. Although the actor was not everyone's favorite choice to play Peter Parker, he did do a pretty good job of playing Spider-Man. It was reported that Garfield would use his breaks from shooting to go around to local New York City basketball courts and play hoops with kids, all while still wearing his Spidey suit. If that doesn't sound like enough fun, how about the fact that Garfield also found love on the set of The Amazing Spider-Man? The leading man and his co-star, Emma Stone, weren't just love interests in the movie, but they actually started dating in real life as well.
Easy, bug boy.
Mary Jane. These days, we hear a lot of stories about actors who were almost cast in famous roles or who ended up turning down parts at the last minute. What's more uncommon, though, is stories where actors actually film their scene only to have them cut out at the last minute. Before The Amazing Spider-Man, actress Shailene Woodley was actually cast as Mary Jane Watson, and she even filmed scenes for the movie. However, her entire character ended up getting scrapped because the filmmakers felt that there were too many characters and that it would end up being a muddled mess. Unfortunately for the team behind this franchise, even cutting out MJ wasn't enough to save the series from being scrapped after the second flick.
You gotta let me go.
Planned sequels. If you thought the end of The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was an overstuffed and confusing mess, you definitely weren't alone, as the movie was panned for trying to fit in way too much. As it turns out, this was done on purpose, as the end of the second movie from the rebooted franchise was actually meant to set up 2 sequels and an extended universe. If all went well, we were going to get The Amazing Spider-Man 3 and The Amazing Spider-Man 4, and there were also lots of rumors about other heroes and villains joining the universe. In the end, Sony scrapped the plans, and a few years later they decided to let Peter Parker join the MCU. In recent weeks, there have been rumors circulating about a Spider-Verse coming to fruition, and it looks like we'll at least be getting a Venom movie. Who knows where they'll go from there, and whether or not people will buy into the franchise. Spidey Age. One of the biggest criticisms of the first 2 Spider-Man franchises was that the actors were far too old to play a believable teenage version of Peter Parker. Critics weren't in the wrong, as Tobey Maguire was 25 for his first go as Spidey, and Andrew Garfield was 26. Marvel heard the critics and went much younger, casting a 19-year-old Tom Holland to play Spider-Man in their cinematic universe. Interestingly, Spidey's level in school has also varied throughout the years. In 2002's Spider-Man, Peter Parker was a senior. In The Amazing Spider-Man, he was a junior, and in Spider-Man Homecoming, we'll get to see Peter Parker the sophomore. From what we've seen online so far, it seems like fans are excited to see a more appropriately aged rendition of the web-slinger.
I got homework.
I'm gonna pretend you didn't say that.
Acrobatic Tom Holland. Once it was announced that Spider-Man would indeed be joining the MCU, the world began to speculate as to which actor would take up the famous role. Names like Donald Glover and Daniel Radcliffe were being thrown around, but as we now know, the part went to Tom Holland. If you want to see something cool, take a deep dive into Holland's Instagram account. The weekend before Tom Holland was announced as Spider-Man, he actually posted 3 videos where he showed off his backflip skills. After the casting was announced, many websites used these videos to show why he was going to be right for the role. We have to think that Holland's publicist got a nice big bonus after coming up with this genius way of promoting the young acrobatic star. Spider auditions. For years and years, we've heard crazy stories from behind the scenes of famous actors' auditions, but this one takes the cake. The audition in question doesn't actually feature a human actor at all, as it turns out that actual Spider auditions were held for the 2002 Spider-Man movie. Director Sam Raimi wanted the perfect Spider for the iconic moment where Peter Parker receives the initial bite, and his first choice was actually a Black Widow Spider. Understandably, a real Black Widow Spider would have been far too dangerous, so the crew actually brought in a bunch of different Spiders to audition for the coveted position. Eventually, the filmmakers settled on one Spider, but it still wasn't the right color. CGI wasn't what it is today, so Sam Raimi and his team busted out the makeup kits and actually painted the Spider so it would have the red and blue look they were hoping for.
Just a new suit. Wait, it's nothing. Mr. Stark, it's perfect. Thank you.
Well, that wraps up our list of 10 secrets Marvel never revealed about Spider-Man movies. Which one of these cool Spidey facts did you like the best? Who's been your favorite Spider-Man actor so far? Let us know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. And be sure to subscribe to CBR to stay involved with all of our new videos. Thanks for watching!